Alright guys, we have a little bit of a different one here today. We are going to actually play some farm sim. Believe it or not, we're going to do some actual work here. So in this series guys, we are going to basically start, we're starting with 750,000, right? So we are going to start with some money, but that's just to get us going. You're going to burn through that so quick. And it's really going to come down to how we stay afloat. I am going to be in this server with a couple of really close buddies here, and we're all probably going to end up doing different things. So it's going to be interesting to see who, comes out on top, who ends up falling on their face, and kind of what happens. Now, we've got some choices to make. We have a couple rules. We are not allowed, obviously, to use any cheating money or government signs, anything like that. You can make money in any way, though. That's all up to you. Now, our choices come with part of the rules here. You have to have a place to sleep, and it can't be a semi. You can't just say, oh, I'm sleeping in my semi. No, you can't do that. Now, you've got choices. You can either buy a farm, like this one here. This is the starter farm, technically. This farm does technically start for $172,000. Now, this comes with a lot. You've got this big barn here. You've got a house with sleep triggers. You've got a little shed here. Like tons of parking, tons of spaces to grow into, and you have space for an animal pen with animals already in it. Now, at $170,000, that's a bargain. So I might honestly go that route. It's either that or we spend 50 grand and take that 170 grand and basically put a living shed down, maybe somewhere, probably, I don't know, like in a random small field. It'd have to be a small field, right? Now, this isn't a bad idea either. You'd get your sleep trigger, you'd have a ton of parking, and it's kind of a good base. This would be a really good start. Right here is, well, maybe right here actually. This would be a good base. You could build off of this, you can grow into this. You've got parking for equipment or anything that you may need. Now, if I'm going this route though, I'm gonna need to still figure out animal pens. Animal pens, we could do fenceless pastures. That's pretty cheap, and that would get us going. And that's pretty reasonable. I would go with this house, but we're just blowing money at that point. We're gonna work our way up to a mansion. But once again, guys, we've got decisions to make here. We have to figure something out. It's right here. This is not bad. Let's maybe walk this property and just check it out quick here and just see. Like I said, this is a pretty solid option. Like I said, in this series, guys, we are going to go over all the different methods to make money that, I find viable and not boring. We're going to do what we can to stay afloat and build our mansions. Oh, this is kind of a neat, like, garage, shop, barn here. I guess barn, I should say. That's creepy. It's pretty neat, though. I will say, that is pretty neat. This is a pretty cool little setup here. Huh. That's pretty neat. Okay. Well, back to it then. Maybe. So like I said, this does give us good parking. This does give us a lot to grow into and even modify if we want, technically. But then again, I think my best option might be to purchase this field here for $48,000 and just build a small property. Now, there aren't rules on this, guys. There are 0 rules on taking loans and doing things like that. So if we do need to take a small loan, we can, but we gotta be careful with that. That can get tricky fast. First things first, so let's get ourselves a vehicle. Alright, so we did spend a little bit of money to get a pickup. We spent $48,900. Now, that is a lot. We could have went with something cheaper. We could have went with, like any of these really. We could have went with this thing realistically and saved a little bit. But in the long haul, you're not saving as much as you might think. And even that's 45K, that's 42K. It's cheaper to go that route there. It is an extra 5K for the bed and any other attachers or anything special that you have added on. So keep that in mind, but I'm pretty happy with that. I think that's a solid deal and pretty fair if you ask me. So I'm cool with that price and cool with that expense. Now, once again, I think we should purchase that small bit of land and maybe we'll compare and contrast, because if we could get a little bit more area, we could add animals a little easier, and I do want to do some animals. I wouldn't mind having animals for productions. That's kind of where I'm going with this. I think I'm gonna have a pretty big sized animal farm with some other stuff going on, a greenhouse and things like that as well. Like I said, first order of business, we have to get somewhere to sleep. We have to have a house, a tent, somewhere to live, somewhere to reside. So that is most important at this moment. Now, that's double the price. It's kind of a lot of money. I wonder if we can find one of these over here for a fair price. I almost feel like we should do this one. I really do. It's 105. It is a little bit more expensive. Now, how much space difference? 7.11 acres, 4.36 acres. Okay, so we do get more land here though. And it's already got buildings. Wow, that's tough because technically we're going to be in 200,000. We still have money to deal with things, so maybe what we do, we're gonna pull the trigger, guys. We bought the land. Okay, so we bought the land. This is our land. Now I am gonna start out by painting this all grass. This is gonna cost money, but it is something that we need. I'm not gonna deal with having dirt under me. I want this to look nice, and you know what? We'll spend a little bit of money in the beginning here. We will make it all back. Be careful while you're painting here, because it does charge you. So this is running up the money right now. The worst part about this is we are gonna have to level out the ground here. I want a nice level area for my shop. So that's what we're gonna do. We're putting a shop here. Now this is gonna get expensive here. This does kind of suck, but we've got to do it. So we're gonna level this out here. Got to spend money to make money, right? There we go. I'm only doing the bare minimum here, guys. I don't want to get too extreme here, because it does get expensive. There's our house. I'm good with it. Now we gotta soften this ground here so it's not so extreme. Once again, this is costing me money, guys, so be very mindful while you're doing all of this. There we go. I'm just doing it quickly. Now, it does cost the same to do asphalt, gravel, anything like that, but we're gonna do gravel. Once again, we don't want to go too extreme with all of this. So we're just gonna throw this up to here and just have a nice little driveway. There we go. Now the other part that really sucks about this is we need grass. We need grass for a couple of reasons. We need grass just because it looks good and it's more realistic, but we also need grass because we are going to end up with sheep. Doing sheep, you don't have to buy them food if you give them grass. You can feed them just regular grass clippings that you mowed off of your property. So, with that, be mindful when doing this because, once again, if you're doing some sort of a challenge where you're limited on money, this is all costing money here. Now, I'm not going to do too much out back here. Just grass. Like I said, we will end up with goats. We're not going to do that yet. We're going to recoup some money after this. Our rules to this lobby, guys, is we just have to have a place to sleep. That is our first order of business. After that, it's all up to whatever we want to do. You know, we can take out loans if we want. We can go do contracts, which is what I'm going to start out by doing, is doing a handful of contracts just to recoup some of this money from building costs and things like that to get us operational. But I am happy with how that has turned out. Now, like I said, in doing this, we have a living space and we have parking areas now. So, we're not that far down either. We actually still have some money to play around with and do other things with as well. Oh, save. Alright, let's check it out. I'm pretty happy with this. Like I said, we started with 750,000. We're just below 400,000. But we have a beautiful property, a reliable vehicle, and we have a home. I am good with that. We have our sleep trigger, which, once again, that's the rule. We just have to have somewhere to sleep. So, I'm good with that. Now, we are going to be doing sheep. We are going to be doing some other things as well on this save. So we've got some plans for that. The nice thing with this too, we have a repair shop and a pressure washer. I don't have to do anything extra or worry any extra about any of it, because that's all in this already. So I'm pretty happy with this purchase. You know, we had some options. We could have went and honestly, we could have just set down a tent. We could have done something like this house and then done a garage next to it. But you know what? The problem with that too, even if we would have done like that cheaper $35,000 house and placed a barn or something like that, right? This is only $25,000. We would have been a little cheaper yet. Look at how nice this is. We've already got a workstation. We've got a pressure washer. And you know what? We balled out a little bit. Who cares? We got the money for it right now. We might regret it later, but that's okay. Now, I've kind of got some thoughts of what I want to do. We are playing with, you can, you know, harvest at any time, plant at any time. That is going to be okay. But I think what I plan on doing on this here, I think I'm going to buy, I don't know, we can either buy the rope. I'm thinking the spinnery though. Buying the spinnery, we can bring cotton or wool, which wool, honestly, brings the same amount. You get more if you bring cotton, but that's okay. We could do wool and just get a, you know, whole bunch of goats and sheep. Well, sheep, not goats, but a whole bunch of sheep and do that. And then eventually buy the tailor shop. It's kind of what I'm thinking. So that's kind of my plan here. Now, in doing that once again, like I just think that that might be the best option. So we'll tag this here. Let's see where it's at and how much it costs. I am struggling to see it on the map though. No, it's not up there. That's not it. That's not it. Wagon builder there, okay. That's not it. I know it's not over there. Maybe it's, that's a restaurant here. I know that. Well, shoot, where's this thing at? It's probably just right up front here, isn't it? Animal dealer. No. Warehouse. Dairy. Wow. Oh, it's right here. Duh. Okay, that's $180,000. So, I think we save up that 180,000, and in the meantime, what I think we do, what I think would be the best option for us, is get some goats. Or sheep, not goats, guys. I'm sorry, I keep butchering that. Get some sheep. Build a big old pen out here and start with our journey of our goats. Sheep, guys. I mess that up every time because they put goats first. My bad. So if we're doing that, we're gonna need a few things to make that work right. I'm trying to decide though, because we might wait on those. Oh no, the productions would be better to get going early, because the earlier we get those going, the easier time we're gonna have when we eventually do start buying our stuff. So, we're gonna make a space right here. Now, I always start by leveling the space. Once again, that costs money, but it just makes everything smoother in the end, okay? So we're just gonna smooth this space out right there, and then we will hit it with the soften tool. Don't go too extreme with the soften tool. You don't want to do that, because it'll damage your area for the sheep. And we're gonna do auto water just because it's only a little more expensive, and then we don't have to deal with water. I'm thinking if we put it right here, we're gonna customize the fence too. Now we're customizing the fence because we're gonna bring it up and use our whole property. The bigger of an area that you have for them, the more you can have. I really want this production to run my entire production just off this one farm would be cool. So we can grow into this, they can multiply, have babies, things like that. So we're just gonna bring all of it all the way up here. We're not gonna plant the meadow, but there we go. So we have that. Now, since we have that, we need a fence, unfortunately. We're just starting to burn through money, guys, but this is how it goes. This is just what you gotta do. So I want a fence, but I'm not trying to spend a ton of money on a fence. So let's see what we've got here for good looking options that aren't too expensive. I think we might just go with the white picket fence, to be completely honest. I'm gonna bring this up just a hair. I don't think there's gonna be a gate really big enough, but we can find something that'll work, right? We'll kind of go like that. Now this is also gonna get kind of pricey, to be completely honest with you, but we've got to do it. Oh, I hate when it does that. Okay, we're gonna have to delete that, unfortunately. And do it all in one shot here. Okay, so we got that. Now, what I think we might do, just to get a gate for a little easier and cheaper, I might do the decoration gate and see if that's a little easier on us and better on the mullet. So we're gonna run through here and just see if we can find them. See if we can find one that actually looks okay and works for what we're doing. I mean, realistically, I could delete those little end pieces and just do something like this. It's almost what I'm thinking. That kind of floats a little bit. So does that. If I delete that, and delete that and that, and we put this in right here, I mean, it's not perfect, but I think that might be what we do just to get us going and keep us secure and locked up. I might just do this one, honestly. It's not perfect. We're gonna upgrade all of this stuff later, guys. Keep that in mind too. This is something where we're saving up and we're gonna build our dream farm and, you know, basically home with money that we've earned, but we've got to get there first. So that is the challenge. I'm pretty happy with that though. It's not perfect. It glitches into the ground a little bit, but we have a gate and that way our assets are protected. Now, we had some of this grass disappear, so unfortunately we're gonna fix it. And then we also have to make a road out to this so that we can access all of this and take care of them, you know? It's kind of the other thing here that's gonna start to add up is we need some extra roads. And unfortunately, it costs the same to do roads of any sort. So we're gonna just kind of do one of these moves here, bring this down and around. We can actually loop it up into our shop here. It's a little bit of an aggressive bump, but that's okay. We'll deal with that. It's not too bad. Now, I do need to kind of make this a little bit bigger. Jeez, we've spent a lot of money right now, guys. But we're almost operational and good. Whew, okay. Okay, now we are gonna need a trailer to haul our animals. Now, I don't know if I want to buy a trailer exactly or rent a trailer. Especially because we're gonna need to be able to hold quite a bit. So that's 38 in that one. I mean, we could just order them realistically. That's 50. 50 is not bad. I could probably do 50 and do a couple loads. But I'm gonna need a semi then. So that's the other part. How much is 50 going for at this moment? We could probably check that and see as well. So if we were to buy 50, and I usually go for, I mean, at least getting started out, I think that we should be a little smarter with it. 50 would be 26,000. That's not too bad. So 26,000, I'd have to rent a truck. Well, actually it'd be cheaper because we're not paying the transport fee if we're driving it. Which is only, oh, I guess it's only $2,500 to have them transport them. Maybe we should just have them transport them. Take that, oh, but then again, if we save that $2,500, we could realistically save up a little more. I do need a mower though, and I'm gonna need a trailer for it. which I think would almost make sense to just buy a trailer outright right away and be done with it. Be nice if there was a used one. But we can realistically get this one for 10K. I don't need anything special with it. Okay, we're gonna buy that. We're gonna need it. We're gonna need a mower and a skid loader as well, though. This is where things are gonna start stacking up quickly. I'm not gonna do anything special to the skid loader or anything like that. We are gonna put unrealistic forks on it, though. Tension belts. I think that's kind of needed. Grassland, we are going to get a mower as well. I do have one that I like, so we're gonna just get that one. Alright guys, there's another 41K spent. We are starting to spend some money here, but that's okay. So I have a plan here. Now, we're spending some money, yes, but with that, we're also going to, we've already got our sheep fed, right? So we got the mower, we can just mow and dump that straight in. We don't need to contain it or do anything special there. Good on that, right? No worries or anything like that. We're gonna need the skid loader to load up our wool, so that makes sense. We're also gonna need that trailer, and realistically we could just lease a trailer, but then we're spending like $1,000 every time that we need a trailer. I don't want to do that, so we are going to just buy that trailer outright right away. We still have 300K. Yeah, at this point, I mean, we're gonna spend another 26 to 50,000 to get our animals, but we could start working that back, and that might be what we do next, is get those animals and then start running some contracts through. Get a few contracts ran through, stack up a little bit of money, and recoup some of the funds for our house, our pickup, our skid steer, and all of the expenses that we just made. We're still not in the hole though. That's the thing. Technically, if I wanted, I could pay for everything and then just be broke, right? I don't want to be broke though. We're going to play this smart, and we're going to save up a little bit before we go and make any massive business purchases. Ooh, almost hit them, my bad. Alright, there's all of our new equipment, guys. That is good. I am excited about that. And we can maintain all of this stuff at our property in our shop. So you can't really beat that. That's kind of one of the greatest things that we could have done, is going with that living shed. And you know what? Eventually, we can upgrade to a beautiful home on a different plot of land, or across the street even, realistically, and have that as like a storage business type of property, you know? We're gonna be working out of there, doing a lot of stuff like that, so it might, honestly, that is probably the most sense that it could have made, is going that route with it. We're gonna load this kind of far forward. I know it's not proper, guys, I know, but it just loads the best and fits the best with all of this when I do that. So we're gonna kind of just throw it up there a little bit. It's not perfect, it's a video game. Alright, loaded up there. Let's get this stuff strapped down and get back to the property. I do think I'm gonna start out by mowing a little bit, getting that stuff kind of knocked down and taken care of, so we can at least have food for the goats. Now, I'm still trying to decide. I might just rent a semi and a trailer, save that $2,500 on a delivery fee for the animals, and use that elsewhere. But then again, I'll probably spend that renting the truck and trailer on its own. So, you know what? Maybe we'll just have them delivered to us for now until we can buy our own animal transportation device. I also need to untag that spinnery. I am sorry that that's on the screen. Perfect timing though. So we'll do that now. Alright, well, we just got a short drive back now to the homestead, and we'll link up when we get back there, okay? Wow, what a good looking set of equipment, guys. I am happy with how we are rolling. And it's only 11 a.m. on day one, guys. That is it. Now, this is the last month that it'll be single day months. I did fast forward time to get us to start kind of in the springtime. I hate how it starts in the winter, colder months. That just makes for gameplay to be a little tricky when you're doing a challenge or anything like that. It can make things start out really, really slow and boring. So we decided to start it in the spring so we can at least see some life and, you know, things like that. Make it look a little nicer outside. We are going to just pull this right in here. It is nice that we have enough room in this shop for whatever we want to do, guys. Look at how much room we have for activities back here. It is actually kind of insane. Now, we are going to start out, like I said, by mowing. So I'm not going to bore you with that. We'll just get this stuff unloaded, put away, parked, and then we'll link back up and catch up on that, okay? Alright, we are currently mowing the yard. We just got started here. Got some things parked. We are still sitting right below $300,000. I think my plan for the rest of day one is just finish mowing, get that all done, and then focus on doing some contracts, recoup some funds, things like that, just to keep, you know, the profits coming until we can at least, you know, stack up some money to, you know, buy a business. Yeah, that's the end goal. That is where you will make the most money, is owning a big farm, owning a business, things like that. So like I said, with this mower here, it's really nice. It bags it all for you. You fill it up. You can see in the bottom right corner there, it shows the grass, contents. I should almost fix this up so it doesn't look like it's part of the road, maybe. But really easy, pull up to it, right bumper and Y, and it just dumps that grass for you. Super simple. Love that. Love that, love that, love that. So we're just gonna quickly mow around the house at least, and then we will worry about the rest. Now, we should maybe buy a few trees and make it look pretty outside, but once again, I don't want to blow through all of my money before anything else. So, oh, gotta turn on the mower first, my bad. So we're gonna wait to do too much landscaping or trees. It's also why we just have a basic fence outside and a basic gate. Eventually, we're gonna have this all looking really nice, guys. That is the end goal, to see how much money we can make and what we can build off of money that we have actually earned in-game. I know, hard to believe Farm Sim 25 builds is not going to cheat his way through building for once. So this is going to be fun, guys. This is going to be really interesting. If you guys have any suggestions or anything, I've never actually played like this. This is new to me. This is actually new to everyone that is going to be on this server, which, like I said, this is a private server with some close friends of mine. But all of them, we've done some farming and stuff, but we always cheat money. So it's going to be interesting to see all the different means and methods that we take, kind of what we can all do with it, you know? It's going to be really neat to see kind of where we get and where we can take this save. Now, keep in mind, guys, I am actually playing, so I do apologize if you get some background noise. I use a Logitech wheel. We all know they're notorious for being noisy, and my mic kind of sits right next to it, so I apologize. I've never really done anything like this, so this is going to be a learning experience for me and you in all aspects, not only of gameplay, but of, you know, recording some actual real footage of me playing and things like that. So bear with me, guys. It might take an episode or two to fully get things straightened out and dialed in, but we'll get there, guys. Just trust the process. You know how it goes with me. We'll have a beautiful thing in the end. We always do. Also, before I just get blind comments on it, because I know I'm going to get them. I know I'm mowing in the rain, guys. I know. I'm just trying to kill time until everyone else gets settled into the server and we all get, you know, acquainted, at that point, we'll play things a little more realistic. We're just trying to get some goat food and kill a little bit of time here. I said goat again. I meant sheep. Shoot, dang it. Alright, so we did a basic mowing. We didn't do a ton. We didn't go extreme with it. When I was placing the fenceless pastures, I didn't really plan out my driveway because this isn't my forever home. So I did realize I have some issues with things like that, like with mowing around the driveway. It kind of placed some of the fenceless bushes for the edges of the pasture. Kind of placed some of them in the way of where I wanted to mow, and it proved to be a little tricky, I will be honest. Not a huge deal though. We have the front yard that we can mow effortlessly, and you know what, we're just gonna focus on that. So that's not a huge deal to me. We're gonna make sure to clean up our equipment and keep it in good shape. It looks pretty nice, right? There we go. We will park this back over here. Now, we don't really have a good spot to park everything yet. We have a ton of space here, but not the best spaces for parking. One of the things I didn't bring up with this is this shelving here. This is going to be really nice for the wool. We can just start stacking up wool here. When we actually have a load that makes sense to take it all at once. That'll be really nice. Alright, I think it is time though that we spend some money and get some animals. We've got some food for them. So let's get some animals. I am going to go with 50 of the 9-month-old or 8-month-old ones. Oh, we went over a little bit there. So we'll go with 50 of these guys. And we're just going to have them delivered. I'm not going to deal with renting. By the time that we rent vehicles and do all of that, it's going to be pretty spendy. So we'll also go with another 35 of the 3-month-olds. Let's buy some babies too. We're going to buy some babies as well. We'll buy 20 babies as well, okay? There we go. We have some animals. And that wasn't that bad for pricing. We're gonna have sheep running all around our property though. That is the one thing with this setup. I kind of like it though. I think that it's kind of funny and it adds a little more farm vibes to it. We have free range animals around here, right? Alright, so now we just have to wait for those to start building us some wool. Looks good though. I'm pretty happy with where we're at for, you know, a little bit of time in. We're not even that far in yet. Now, I do think it's important that we stay open with the finances. So let's take a look here. We're currently at $248,947. You can see at the bottom right hand corner. We have spent $501,000. Now, you gotta remember, $260,000 was the shop and the grass, the leveling, the gravel, all of that stuff. $43,000 on livestock, $90,000, I'm gonna call it equipment. Even our pickup, that's equipment, okay? So equipment, don't have to worry about food for those, so we're done with that, which is really nice. Vehicle running costs, that's $6, not much we can do about that. We have water costs, $6, that's not too bad. Otherwise, guys, that is all we're paying at the moment. We still have $250,000 in the bank. I think we're sitting pretty good. This stuff is gonna really start producing here. I'm gonna wait to plant some trees though. I think that that is a smart move to wait on. And we're also gonna wait to do some other landscaping. I'd like to make like maybe a little better path up here so it actually looks real. And we might actually put a driveway through there, honestly. I'm not entirely sure yet though. All I know is this is gonna be pretty easy for loading up onto a trailer or loading anywhere that we need. But we do need trees. We really need some trees out here. I mean, we could spend a couple grand here and get some trees, but maybe what we do is we do a contract just to get our money up a little bit before we, pull the trigger on making some trees. So let's see what we got for contracts. I mean, realistically, if we just do a bale wrapping job, that's pretty simple, pretty easy, and we'll get just shy of 5 grand. That's not too bad. Let's do that. We're gonna lease some machines though, because I don't want to have to own all that stuff. Now, with this series, guys, I'm not gonna do any teleporting back and forth between vehicles. We're gonna make it a goal to actually drive everywhere and, make it as realistic as possible. I know some of this equipment, we probably wouldn't always drive on the road. But then again, I live in the Midwest of the USA, where it's kind of anything goes, especially in farm country. So at the same time, I don't really care. We're just gonna drive them. We might end up buying some stuff like trailers and stuff to transport later on, but for now we will just do the drive back and forth. But with that, I'm not gonna bore you with driving back and forth every single time, so we might clip out some of the driving here unless I have something important to say, which is likely not very often, but we can hope, right? There's always a chance. Alright, so we're pulling up. Looks like that is our rental there. We're gonna just kind of park over here, get out of the way just in case anyone buys any new vehicles or equipment, anything like that. But we also don't want to leave our vehicles running because I don't want to have to pay for all that gas. So let's grab this stuff, check it out. We are just doing a simple bale wrapping job. There's nothing too in-depth with bale wrapping. This is really simple, kind of a tedious, boring, mind-numbing job, but that money is going to actually pay for our trees. So let's see where we're going. We're going to field 45. Which is actually not that far from here. It's not too bad. We could technically take the ferry across the river there. Maybe we'll do that. Maybe we'll take the ferry across the river, make it a little easier on ourselves. So it looks like it's right off of that ferry there. Not too bad though. I do like Riverbend Springs, guys. This is a really good map, and quite honestly, me and all my buddies my buddies and I all have way too many mods to do other maps, so we just decided that Riverbend would be the best and easiest for everyone, mod-wise and everything like that. So we just have to wait for this thing here. It takes a second, but it'll come over. We'll take that across the river here, and yeah, that should be pretty solid for us. Alright, looks like that ferry's here. We will cross. Is it a ferry or a barge? I don't really know. Alright, looks good to me. I'll maybe shut this off. I'm not paying for gas really in it. I don't think I have to pay for gas in it, but we'll shut it off anyway just to save gas for just in case. Look at this other equipment. Look at that. It's kind of neat. It is kind of neat that the boxes are just stored there. It's all in them small details. I really like the small details. I mean, down to, you can see the nuts and bolts on this thing. It's pretty cool. Alright, that's us, guys. Now, if I saw it correctly, yeah, we're just up and to the left here, so we are just going to go up and to the left, and let's make a little bit of money. At least we won't just have one day of, a ton of money down. It is going to look funny when we look at finances later on. This month is going to be a heavy hitter because we bought so much this month. I mean, we kind of had to, though. Like I said, part of the rule is you need a place to sleep on day one when you get started. So, unfortunately, we didn't really have a choice. We kind of had to do it. Now, we could have saved some money and done it a little cheaper, but you know what? We might as well get what we want and do what we need. So it doesn't matter, we're not actually storing these or anything like that. All we have to do is pick them up and bail them. So we're just gonna do that here. I turned on automatic drop because I really don't care where they drop. Not my problem, you know what I mean? But once again, I'm not gonna bore you with all of this, guys. I am going to just talk to you after we can collect some money. Alright, boys. Alright, we're bailing up our last one, guys. That is not too bad. Didn't take that long. That is more money back in the bank, you know. We spent a lot of money today on day one, but you kind of have to. That's expected. So, not a big deal. But, like I said, let's stay true to it. Let's drive back now to return our rental, because I don't want to walk all that way. So, we're going to take that barge or ferry or whatever you want to call it back across the river there, just to get this back and returned. Now, like I said, we could have started with $0, we could have started with 100,000, we could have started with a ton of different amounts, guys. We all discussed it. We decided as a group that, you know what, we're all pretty new to this actually making money thing in this game. And, you know, it's easier if we start with a little bit of money just to get established, but you can burn through that fast. You know, as I've proven here, we've spent $500,000 in one day on really not that much. Now we've got some animals, but that's going to take some time to stack things up. I think this next month I am going to buy the spinnery and just instantly start bringing stuff over there, because it is by the farmers market, and I did see that you can get quite a bit of money from the products from the spinnery if you own it. So that's kind of my thoughts, is do that just to build up some money. And you know what, I don't want to spend that $180,000 in this month. I really don't. That's a lot of money to spend in 1 month. So let's keep that money afloat a little bit, do some contracts, build some of that back, and at least get our footing back a little bit before we go and buy that business. And then we can spread it out too, so it doesn't look like we've spent all of this money in 1 month. Even if it doesn't matter, you know, I'm just gonna do it in a little bit here. Really doesn't matter doing it now or later. I think on the finance sheet it's gonna look a lot prettier if we do it this way. We're gonna try and keep that finance sheet looking as pretty as possible, guys. That's our goal here. And we don't wanna be too far in the hole. So we are back here. There's our beautiful pick 'em up truck. What a nice looking truck. We just opted for a very base option truck. Really didn't do anything special. Having the workshop in our home does make it nice, because we can change this stuff up on the fly for pretty cheap. So that will be nice and a pretty good little option. So let's get this returned, guys. Let's return this tractor and stuff like that, because we don't need it anymore. Oh, wait. We can do that just by finishing our contract. My bad, my bad. Alright, collect. There is some money, guys. 44.31 back in the bank. Now, let's see. Do we have anything else that we could just quickly pound out? There is pretty easy bailing ones here, but it's not a ton of money. Cultivating doesn't usually pay too bad. I did find, okay. I'm not going to say never. Some people like doing it. I am never ever doing carrots again. Carrots are a headache and I hate them. I did do some cotton though. Cotton was pretty easy, pretty good, but I'm not seeing any harvesting cotton jobs. So that kind of sucks. But this one might not be too bad actually here. Field 77 pays 14 grand. Technically, we could do this on our own. I think we might make an extra profit on this as well. Let's do it. We're gonna do this one here, guys. Now this one might be a little tricky because we are gonna have to do some teleporting back and forth. There's really no way around that, unfortunately. But that's okay. I'm gonna make it my goal to not do too much teleporting, but I'm gonna kind of have to, unless one of my buddies joins the server and can give me a ride back. Otherwise, guys, I'm gonna get this loaded up and we will get over to that field. Alright guys, we are loaded up and heading out to field 77 here. It's not that far. It does look like we're gonna have to sell things and it will be a little bit more of a drive for us to sell things. That's okay. That's not that big of a deal. Otherwise, guys, once again, I'm not gonna bore you with the drive over to the field. We'll get our equipment over there and get this moving. Alright, so I did tell you guys I'm not gonna do any teleporting, so you know what? We're gonna walk back. This is gonna take some time though, so bear with me. Once again, I'm not gonna make you watch me walk all the way back over there. I do know I have some people joining up here in a second, so once they join up, this might get a little easier on me as long as they're feeling friendly. Otherwise, we're gonna have a little bit of walking to do today. But that's okay, guys. Just bear with me. I will catch up with you when I get back to get the semi. I can see the comments already of, oh, you should have just hired a driver, hired an AI to drive it back. I'm not doing that. That's wasting money, guys. That's digging into my pockets. I'm not trying to do that. I'm just kidding. I know I could have. I just figured, you know what? It's a beautiful day for a walk. We're waiting for people to join up anyway. We've got our farm started. We're kind of just burning through this day. I'm getting a little bit of a head start. They weren't able to get on as early, so you know what? We're just killing time anyway. We'll figure out a better process a little bit later. Look at that, guys. We made it. We have made it. Okay. So, let's get this driven back and we will start our contract, okay? We are just harvesting some sorghum and going to sell it. Alright, we are almost back to the field now. That's not too bad. That drive back was not bad. Now, getting this stuff all returned, I guess we technically only have to bring one thing back, then we can complete the contract, so I'm not too worried about that. It's more just getting things out here. Oopsies! Sorry. But we did it. We're here. We're alive. Alright, we do have a really big field here though, so this is going to take some time, so bear with me. I will catch up with you guys when we are moving through this contract, okay? One of the things that I am still new to, guys, is, you know, planning ahead. I've never really done all of this, so I should have maybe thought it through a little bit more and maybe not done that pass and had it facing the other way so I don't have to drive through this field. Luckily, since we're all new at this, I don't have destruction on. It's whatever. Just pretend with me. Alright guys, there is our first go here. We're making some money. We're gonna make some good money on this. I have found that sometimes you make a little extra on these harvesting contracts, so we're hopeful. We're crossing fingers. Even if we don't though, we made some good money today and we spent some good money today. Love it. Love to see it. Love it. Alright, we got our trailer partially loaded. Let's get another hopper full here in the combine and or harvester and keep going, guys. Harvester, not combine. I'm gonna call some of this stuff the wrong name, guys. Don't shoot me. I'm gonna do my best, alright? Alright guys, we'll catch up in a second here, okay? How did you spend all your money already? What'd you buy, dog? Just like genuinely curious. I'm kind of intrigued here. Which producer did you buy? Yeah, production, yeah. Alright guys, we are halfway done with this field. and we're about to finish filling this trailer and we'll go deliver our first load. I do hate to say it though, with it getting dark like this, I do think, I don't want to work through the night, so I do think we are going to go and move it days. We might get a little bit more done tonight, you know, it's only 6:30-ish, a little bit earlier than 6:30. Wow, this thing is struggling to go up this hill. Holy cow. We're pedal to the metal right now. But I do think that we will end up moving days and at least going to sleep after maybe 9 p.m. we'll head towards home. Alright, we are right around the corner here from our destination. It's kind of a tight little road. Got some fog and it's kind of getting dark too. It's almost a little sketchy. This thing's gonna struggle to get up the hill too. This thing does not like the weight. Wow. Let's go, buddy. You can do it. I believe in you. Oh, jeez. This is not ideal. Wow. I'm sorry for all the vehicles behind me. This is insanity. Alright, so our stop is right here. Looks like we can pull in. I'm gonna skip this first entrance. We'll go to the second entrance. I think there is one. Is that not another entrance up here? Maybe it's after the bridge? No, it's under the bridge. Shoot, we're gonna have to turn around, guys. That is my bad. I didn't realize. I've never come here, so should have maybe done a little scouting ahead of time, or just popped into third person, but we didn't. So we're gonna have to find a pretty good spot here to turn around. I don't know if I'm trying to go down there. Maybe we'll just whip up over here. Sorry about your grass, guys. I do apologize. I do apologize. But we are right around the corner. If we could actually make it, that would be solid. Okay, this looks much better here. So we're gonna turn in here. Go deliver this grain. Wow, this is not the driveway for semi-trailer. Wow. This is not ideal. Wow, wow, that's aggressive. Holy cow. Okay. Alright, we're good. We made it. Now we only have like, I think we'll have maybe 2 more loads. That's not too bad. We'll just quickly unload this here, guys, and get back to our field and try and see how much more we can knock out before it's too late in the night. Alright, we have emptied our load. We are on our way back to the field now. And we're not super far away. We do have to do a little backtracking because of the route that I decided I thought would be best. Which it wasn't. I should have asked for directions. You know how it is, so no worries. We're almost back on track. And, you know what, this is a pretty successful day 1. Alright, this is us right here, guys. Oh, it is getting dark. That's kind of unfortunate, but you know what? I think we can make a couple more passes. We're pretty far through this, so you know, we'll just park the truck over here and go over to our harvester. Alright, so I was actually going to save some of this for tomorrow, but we don't have that much left of this field, just a little bit to the corner there. So you know what, we're just going to finish it out tonight. It is only 7:18 right now. I'm pretty happy with that. I'm cool with that. Let's get some more money. finish out this month strong. Tomorrow is when the real stuff starts. That does seem to pose a problem, doesn't it? Alright, I am finished with this field. This one little pass here. I'm done actually. Alright, there we go. We are loading up and we're gonna take this last load and that's it, boys, for day one. Pretty happy with that. Alright, that's it. We got another 15,000 liters. Let's go get the rest of this money, guys. Start making back some money, and I think, like I said, next month I think we can be ready to expand with our sheep a little bit more, and we might be ready to buy that production. That's kind of the plan as of now, though. We'll see how it goes. Alright, we are almost to selling this stuff. It's kind of foggy and creepy, I'm not gonna lie. We're back to this dreaded hill again. I'm hoping, though, that, you know, we're only 42% loaded instead of 100%. Might go a little better. Apparently not. This thing is not it. We're gonna have to buy a semi if we are gonna do a lot of these contracts. And it just might help for when we get stuff going with all of our sheep. You know, that wool and whatnot, getting that from them. Might come in handy to have a semi-trailer with our own semi so we don't have to deal with renting and things like that. Maybe we'll get lucky and there will be one discounted. If there's a used one, I would happily buy a used one and repair it, put some money into it myself so that we can have our own. I think that that would actually be very beneficial, but we're not quite there yet, so I'm not going to worry about it at this moment. Right now, all I care about is getting rid of this contract. So, let's start dumping. I think that we might actually end up ahead on this. It's kind of my hope. Maybe, we'll see. There we go. We did actually make some extra on top of that contract, guys. Made an extra $5,300. That means that for our time, we made actually about 20 grand there, all in all, by the time that this contract is done. We just got to drive back, short little drive back to the store, pick up our truck, finish our contract, return the equipment, and we are good to go. Now, I did talk to the store. They said that they'll come pick up that harvester for me. So I'm not going to worry about that. That's their problem now. They can deal with that. But I will bring the truck home because I got to get my pickup. Alright, look at that, guys. We are back, and here is our beautiful truck. Never thought I'd be so excited to see this beautiful site. But we can call the boss and finish up that contract, collect our money, and let's go home, check on our house, check on all of our stuff, and see how we're doing. Look at that. We are good to go, guys. There's another 13 grand in the bank and 5 grand. So we made 17 grand off that. I'm pretty happy with that. That is not too bad. All right, guys, look at that. We are home. We are pulling up at the old homestead here. What a successful day, though. We got our house. We got our property. We have our producers. We're gonna have to buy that production next, but I'd say that we're pretty well set. Oh. Took out my truck a little bit. We'll fix that. We got toolbox and whatnot. I do need to kind of wash this pig. This thing is kind of dirty, so let's maybe bring it in the middle bay here. Might have to move some things around. Oh, we got... Hi, guys. How's it going? Maybe we... Sorry for interrupting. I will leave you guys alone then. My bad. I'm just kidding. Doing the defenseless pasture around your entire property like that does let animals inside. Keep that in mind. I think it's kind of funny, though. Oh, need to shut off the headlights. And you know what? It's end of day. Truck. Oh, need to get a little. Can't go that far apparently. But we're gonna wash this thing up. I think it's gonna let me. Yeah, it is letting me wash it from here. So we're gonna make sure our equipment is clean, looking nice and good before we go to bed. This end of day one though, guys. We'll check those finances quickly too. But you know what? Look at how good this all looks. I'm pretty happy with where we're at here. So let's look at them finances quickly. Let's see where we sit. We spent 477,000. Well, no, we spent more than that. But this month we spent 477,000. We're still sitting at 272,000 in the bank. That's not bad, guys. I'm pretty happy with that. Now, it does show harvest income and contract income there. I am glad that it shows that. Look at that, guys. We're not in the negative. We're sitting good. We are sitting pretty. Still at over $250,000. I think we're going to add a greenhouse tomorrow as well. And I think we might have to buy some more sheep. I kind of want some more production on that. More production speed. So I think that'll be the plan. Let's get this day gone through though. I'm tired, tuckered out, and I think it's time for day 2.